Hello, this is Gary, Quantitative Literacy 1. This week we're going to play around with the fixer-upper and percentages in many forms. The fixer-upper is going to play more with unit conversions, which we've done a bit of, and then we're going to jump into some area and volume and cost for some home projects. And then percentages in many forms, we'll play around with estimations and comparisons with percents. Let's get busy. So we're going to be playing around again with different number operations. We're going to be playing around with measurements of different things and some evaluating with formulas, a bit of geometry. It's a good idea to have this page here. This is from your prep assignment, different formulas for area and volume. And for this situation, you're going to want to either print this image out or just redraw it. So I am going to redraw it here in my notes. All right, so let's see. We've got this big rectangle, and then we'll put some measurements on it in a minute. Say it's about that tall and maybe that wide. So this is their lot. And then on here, let's get that picture back. We've got a scale down here. So 2 of them is 20, 3 of them is 30. So each of the squares is 10 by 10. So the backyard would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30. Looks like it's 130 wide. And then the front yard from there, notice different fence lines there. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 105. It's just half a one. All right. So got a divider here. And this distance, I see in my picture as 130 feet. I'll double check that in a second. And then this was 105 feet. And then the fence line vertically up to a post, 10, 20, 30 something. Not quite clear about that. 30 plus feet, we'll fix that later. And then we have the house, 40 feet up. So maybe 40 feet up is about here. Let's get a straight line. And the house comes over and up, maybe there-ish, and back, and there's a little stick out here, something like that. That doesn't quite line up. Let's clean that up. So this needs to go like that, and then over, and then back there. So something like that is the house. Okay, so other measurements, we've got another fence line over here. And that appears to be about 20-ish feet. And then across the top, let's count that out again, make sure it looks like, oops, wrong button. That one, about 10 feet further than down below, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, so 140 there. And then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 95. So those seem to match up what I have below. So up here, we've got 140 feet, and this is 95. So 95 plus 140 is the same as 105 plus 130. So we got those dimensions. And then width here, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 5, 105, no, 115. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and a half times 10 is 115. Again, you could just print this. And some other measurements off the house. Let's see. This part of the house is 20 feet. That's a 0. And this part over here is 30 feet. Clearly my picture here, the house is not quite to scale. And then the house goes out 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 over here. And 10, 20, 30, 40 over here. Seems reasonable. All right, see what other dimensions we need in a minute. Okay, so playing around with the scale drawing. The scale shows each grid is how wide? Well, it looks like each grid box is 10 feet wide. And then the area of a box, let's put that in here. Notes. So one of those squares is 10 feet by 10 feet. So its area is 10 feet times 10 feet, or 100 feet squared, which we could also call 100 square feet. And let's see, estimate the dimensions of the whole lot. All right, so we have that in the picture. So counting out those squares in the whole lot, we've got the, that is 115, and then all the way across would be 105 plus 130, so that should be 235 for the whole lot. And you should double check that on your screen. All right, next we want to use the dimensions. You determine and estimate the area and the perimeter of the lot. Okay, so area, we just did a small example of that. So for the whole lot, we're going to have 235 feet times 115 feet, and that's going to give you some number of square feet or feet squared. And as far as the perimeter, well, you've got 235 here and 235 there and 115 and 115. So the perimeter would be 2 lengths of 235 and 2 lengths of 115 feet. Oops. Feet. So whip that out on your calculator to get the total perimeter of the whole lot. And then we want to estimate the area of the house. So the house, it's not a perfect rectangle, so we're gonna have to do that in a couple of pieces. So I might, for the house, break it into 2 chunks. Maybe I'll do that cutout here separately. So this main part here is, looks like 40 by 50. Let's double check this length here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have this 10 by 20 bump out there. So I would say for the house area, we have 2 pieces we're going to add up. One piece is 40 feet by 50 feet. And then we'll add on to that the piece that is 10 feet by 20 feet. And so that's going to give us some total number of square feet or feet squared. So whip that out on your calculator. And let's see what we got next. All right, next, let's blow this up a little bit. Let's see. They want to get the backyard fertilized and reseeded before they have a child. Jerry's green team has these itemized costs here. Jerry came to the house and said that the job would take about 4 hours and would cost $600. So we want to use the area of the backyard to determine how much the job should cost based on the advertised prices. Okay, so let's see. We got to calculate the grass seed for the yard, and that is per square foot, and the fertilizer is per square foot, and then we have an estimate of the time. All right, so we are going to use his itemized advertisement here to see how it compares to his $600 offer for the job. So let's whip that out. I need a screenshot of that. Yeah, computer is being fussy. Okay, screenshot's not working. Just move it over and write it down. I want this on a new page so I can refer back to it. So let's copy all of that. Then we want Jerry's costs. So got Jerry's green team. And we have grass seed. And that is $3.50 per pound. And 1 pound covers 250 square feet. And then we've got fertilizer. And that is 125 per pound. Double check on your assignment. And its coverage is 350 square feet. All right, and then labor for 4 hours is $45 per hour. So for 4 hours, that would be 4 times 45, right? The hours will cancel out there, which is going to give us 90, 90, looks like 180. Double check that on a calculator. All right, for the grass seed, we need to find the area of the whole yard. So let's see, what do we got? And the yard isn't quite a perfect rectangle. We got this extra section there. And then otherwise, we have a rectangle for the yard. Something like that. Over and up. So I'm going to do the yard in 2 pieces then. I've got this 130. So this is for the backyard, by the way. Yep, backyard. So like the house, we'll break it into parts because it's not a perfect rectangle. So we've got 2 rectangles, the big white one and the little green one. And the big white one is 130 by 115. And we multiply feet by feet, we're going to get feet squared, right? And then we got this little sliver up there. So we're going to add on, that is 10 feet by what? I got to go to the drawing and figure out what that is. Didn't label it. All right, so this sliver right here is 10, 20, 30, 40, 55. So we have 10 by 55. All right, this time I'm going to whip out a calculator. So that over here and then back. So we've got the 130 across the back of the yard times 115 wide, plus that extra little sliver there that is 10 by 55. And I'm getting 130 times 115 plus 10 times 55 is 15,500 square feet. And once I have that, then I can turn these into costs. So for the seed, we're going to have for that whole 15,500 feet squared, we are going to multiply it. So we want to get rid of feet squared. And up here, we have a pounds per square foot. And that's 250 square feet. So that's going to help us get rid of the feet squared. And that'll tell us how many pounds of grass we need. And then we know the cost of the grass is 350 per pound. So that changes from pounds to dollars. So this is going to give us a dollar amount. So on your calculator, 15,500 divided by 250 times 350 will give you the seed. And then we want the fertilizer. So same idea, we could either start with the cost or the square footage. I'll start with the square footage again. So 15,500 feet squared times 1 pound of fertilizer will cover 350 feet squared. That's going to get rid of the feet squared and tell us how many pounds we need, which we don't need separately. And then we want to multiply that by the $1.25 per pound. And that will convert from pounds to dollars and give us the dollar figure for the fertilizer. So whip that out on your calculator. And then what we want is the total cost is going to be the grass seed, the fertilizer cost, and then the 4 hours of labor. So let's double check we have all the right information based on the problem. All right, so let's see, confirm. Backyard fertilized and reseeded. And we've got the 350 per pound and the 125 per pound. 350 per pound for the seed, 125 per pound for the fertilizer. Check. Grass seed is 250 square foot coverage per pound and 350 square feet for fertilizer. So 250 versus 350, 250 versus 350. We got the area, assuming our measurements are right on the scale drawing, looking good. Okay. So make that calculation, those three things, the grass seed, fertilizer, and labor for 4 hours. And he said the job would take about 4 hours here. How does that, we want to know what the total is first. And then down here, we want to know, is his $600 estimate here consistent with what he advertised? I'll let you answer that question. All right, what do we got next? Next, we want to build a chain link fence around the backyard. The fence is shown, already shown in the diagram above. The fence would have, so this is just around the backyard. All right, so I need to redraw that, and I'm just going to rough that out. So, new page. So chain link fence part. So again, if your picture of the yard is getting messy, feel free to redraw it or just keep drawing over what you have. So my fence is going to come around like that. And then over there, and this side's a little shorter than the one above, and then it comes up, and then the house gets in the way, and then it comes down over here, and then the house gets in the way. And let's see, there is going to be a gate over here and another gate from the house over there-ish. And then the house looks something like this. Boom. Again, my picture isn't the best, but something like that. Graph paper would help. All right, so then filling in the measurements, for sure, what do we know? We know that this side here is 130. Oops. And this is 115. And this one is 140. We need to know what those two are. So back here, what do we got? Let's see. They need post, there's sales tax, there's some cost there. A gate is 48 inches wide, so that's good to know. And there's a gate here and there. And these green dots indicate what? That's the edge of the gate, and we need corner posts. So let's say fence would have two gates on either side of the house. They decide to work themselves. They need to get inline posts every 8 feet, corner posts at each corner, and on each side of the gate. Okay, so we'll have to mark off corner posts on there too. All right, and we want to find the total cost based on that information right there. So based on the picture, oh, we need that one more time. If the gate is 4 feet and the distance to the edge of the house there is 10, 20, 30, 40, then it's the fence we need here is 40 feet minus the 4-foot gate. And then up here it'd be 10, 25 minus the 4-foot gate. Okay, got it. So this side over here to the house is 25, but we're going to take off for the gate. So that means we're going to have 21 feet for that part of the fence. And this side, it's 40 to the house minus the 4-foot gate is going to give us 36 feet for that side right there. And then corner posts, I think I'll put red circles. So we need a corner post there and there and there and there. And then they said on each side of the gate. So there'll be a corner post here, and the gate will connect to a corner post by the house, corner post there, and the gate will connect to a corner post by the house there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 corner posts. The regular posts, according to the information, are every 8 feet. So we got to figure out how many chunks of 8 feet there are going across there. So we'll get the regular posts in a minute. So inline posts, every 8 feet. And then we need the total length of fence. So let's see, might as well do the inline posts. How many do we need? Well, let's see, for the 130, every 8 feet. So if we split 130 into 8 feet chunks, that'd be 130 divided by 8. What's that going to give us? Oops, not you. 130 divided by 8 gives us 16.25 groups of 8. So let's think about that for a minute. Calculator says that is 16.25. So that means 8 goes into 130. 16 times with a remainder of how many feet? So there's 16 groups of 180, right? 16 times 8 is what? 128. So that means there's 2 feet left over. 0.25 is 2 out of 8. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So what that means is along the bottom, let's say we have posts in blue, we're going to have a post and a post and a post, and they keep going all the way right to the very end. In that last chunk between this post and the end post, there's 2 feet left over, which is fine. Now, you might say, well, let's just skip the last post. And if you did that and you say you stop here instead of there at the 15th instead of the 16th post from the corner, then you'll have a 10-foot span. And oops, I keep grabbing the wrong, get away, Zoom. How about I put you down here? Zoom's always in the way. You look back at the information here, an inline post needs to be at least every 8 feet. So we can't do over an 8-foot span. So we have to have that last post 2 feet away. So along this side, we're going to need, again, 16 posts here. And then we just keep doing those divisions. So I want to know what is 115 divided by 8, and I want to know what is 140 divided by 8, and then I need to know over there what is 21 divided by 8, and what is over here 36 divided by 8. All right, so let's see, 8 goes into 36. Let's see, 8 times 4 is 32, so that would be 4 remainder 4. So that's going to be like 4.5. And 8 goes into 21. Let's see, 8 goes in, 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. So this is going to be 2 point something. What's going to be left over? 5/8, 0.6 something, maybe. We'll check that on the calculator. All right, let's get the calculator for the rest of these. Get rid of that. So we need the 115 divided by 8, and we need the 140 divided by 8, and we need the 21 divided by 8, and we need the 36 divided by 8. All right, so that tells me I'm going to need 14, 17, 2, and 4. So, and again, I only really care about the whole number. The remainder is not a big deal. So this one was about 14 posts. And I don't want to round up because that'll give me too many posts. And then what's this one? Let's see, the 130 was 16, got that. The 15 is 14 posts. The 140, where'd you go? 17 posts. And then 2 posts here and 4 posts there. Okay, so inline posts is going to be 16 plus 14 plus 17 plus 2 plus 4. Oops. 16, 14, 17, 2, 4. 16, 14, 17, 2, and 4. All right, those should be all of them. So that's 10, 17, 18, 19, 23, if I'm counting right. Double check on the computer. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I need 53 posts. Let's double check here. So 16 and 17, and you should always find ways to double check. Oops, I missed my 14 next. Then the 17, 16, 14, 17, 2, and 4. So altogether, I think I need 53 posts. All right, so that's my inline posts. Okay, so we got the corner post, we know the inline post, we're gonna have 2 gates. And then for the perimeter of the fence, perimeter, we've got, so let's highlight as we go. Let's start maybe here. So we got that length right there, which is 36 feet. And then we're going to have 130 feet. And then the 115 feet. And then the 140 at the top. And then the 21. And then we don't put fence up against the house, so that should be it. So 140 plus 21. So we've got 36, 130, 115, 140, and 21. Looks good. Could do that in our heads or on paper, but we got a calculator here. So I've got, let's see, 36, 36, and 130, and 115, and 140, and 21. 36, 130, 115, 40, 21. Looks like it's 442 feet of fence. Double check my paper to my work here, my calculator, 36, 130, 115, 140, and 21. Looks good. So that would be 442 feet of fence. Putting it all together, we need the costs from here. So here it's $7 per linear foot, which we just calculated the feet. It's $75 per gate. Inline posts are $12.50 and the corner posts are $20 each. So your next task is to whip that out. So this would be the fence cost, fence materials. So we have fence itself. And they say the fence is $7 per foot. And we just calculated 442 feet. All right, so get that dollar amount. And then we've got gates. And the gates are $75 each. And we know we need 2 gates. And the inline posts are $12.50 each. And we counted around and got 53. We should probably double check that one. That was the hardest one, I thought. And we have corner and gate posts. So corner / gate posts. And those are $20 each. And we counted that we need 8 corner posts. Oops, equals. All right, and I just want to double check that 53 again. So I'm going to go back to my drawing here. So if we count posts every 8 feet to get up here, so that would be this endpoint was what? 40 minus 4, 36 feet. So if we count by 8 going up there, and again, these squares are by 10. So 8, 16 puts me about here. 24 puts me about there. 32 puts me right before the gate. So counting again, 8 feet is 1, 16 feet is 2, 24 is the 3rd post, and then 32, counting by 8, would be the 4th post, and then we have the corner post for the gate. And we calculated that 36 divided by 8 was 4.5, and my claim is we only need the 4, and then the 0.5 means there's another half of 8 feet to go before the corner post for the gate is there. Yeah, these calculations seem reasonable. Let's double check one more on the picture. So let's check the 115 side. So 8 goes in 115 14 times. So double check that on the calculator. 8 times 14 is 112. So we go placing posts. I was doing those in blue. So I go 8 feet up from there and I put a post, another 8 foot and I put a post, and I keep doing that 14 times. And by the time I get to the 14th one, let's say right there's the 14th, I'll have covered 112 feet. And that means there's 3 feet left to get to that corner post. So I have posts at least every 8 feet if I use 14 of them on the 115-foot side. Yeah, that seems reasonable. All right, so your job is to then, oops, I want this page back, and then this page is to complete these calculations and get a total here, adding up the results of those, and that's going to give you the cost of the fencing materials for this job. All right. What does the question want to know? It wants to know that cost. And again, if you don't get it right the first time, they'll break it down for you. Oops, next page. All right, so here we want to make a patio. So there is a brick grill in the backyard. They want to make a concrete patio in the shape of a semicircle. The patio is the shaded area. So we want just that up there. The patio's concrete slab needs to be 2 inches thick. They're going to use 40 pound bags, pre-mixed concrete. Each 40 pound bag makes 0.3 cubic feet of concrete and is 650. Each bag is 650. Oh shit, sales tax. Forgot about that. Back up here. I didn't read all the, I did read the instructions, but I forgot. We got to include sales tax on that. So let's go back and finish that. Let's see. 9.4% sales tax. So we're going to need the total. So this is really a subtotal here from those guys. And then we need to add on to that 9.4% sales tax. And then that will give us the real total. So once you calculate whatever that number is, you're going to take 9.4% means divide by 100 times your subtotal. And that'll give you this number here. And then you can add these two to get the complete total. All right, I think we're doing better now. Let's look at the directions again, just to be sure. Let's see, chain link fence, backyard, check. Fence is gonna have 2 gates, check. They decide to do the work themselves. They need a post, inline post at least every 8 feet. Yeah, we double check that. Corner post at each corner and on each side of the gates. And there are the material costs. And then don't forget the sales tax. All right, better. All right, now back to the slab here. So how much will the materials cost, including, again, a 9.4% sales tax, and you can only buy whole bags of concrete. So how many whole bags we need? All right, so this must be the brick grill in that 6 by 3 foot area, and they want to add this half circle patio there. And we've got the dimensions. All right, so let's redraw that in our notes. So for the patio, we've got this semicircle, something like that. And we know that it is 6 feet across. So then the radius of that circle would have to be 3 feet. And I'm getting that radius because the formula for the area of a circle from our cheat sheet area is pi times the radius squared. Okay. So for us, that's going to give us pi on the calculator times the 3 feet squared, which is 3 feet times 3 feet. So 3 times 3 is 9. So this is going to be pi times 9 square feet. Let's see what that is approximately. And I'm going to use the calculator to my best advantage, so I don't have to round much. So I want to take pi times 3 raised to the second power. So that gives me about 28.2743. Let's hang on to a few decimal places. So that's approximately 28.2743-ish, and that's feet times feet, or feet squared, or square feet, whatever you want to call it. So that's the area. We want the volume. And there's some tips on calculating volume back on that sheet. So let's go get our cheat sheet here. What do we got? So talk about volume of a box, volume of a cylinder. So the patio is kind of half a cylinder, right? Instead of a full circle, it's a semicircle. So basically it says take that pi r squared and multiply by the height. Oh, wait, the pi r squared, that would be the whole circle. We want the semicircle. And then they go on to talk about prisms. And our patio is a prism. It's got the base and the top are going to be the same shape, that semicircle. So it says volume of something like that is area of the base times the height. Cool. All right, let's adjust our work here. So that's a full circle. I got to remind myself, I want a semicircle. So the semicircle area is going to be that pi r squared, but over 2. So back to the calculator for that sucker. So I want to take that and divide it by 2. So half of 28 is about 14. Seems reasonable. Check it on your calculator. So for us, this is about 14.1372 if we round to the 4th decimal place. And again, that's feet squared. All right, so volume is the area of the base times the height. And we were told the thickness is 2 inches. So we can't mix inches and feet. So that's 2 out of 12. So our height is our thickness. So that would be 2 out of 12 inches in a foot times our pi times 3 feet squared over 2, which we have approximated there. And altogether, feet squared times feet is going to give us an answer in feet cubed. All right, so we want to take that area right there and then multiply that answer by 2/12, which you could feel free to reduce if you wish. All right, so my calculator says then that is about 2.356-ish, 3562. 2.3562 cubic feet. All right, let's see. What do we know about the concrete? The concrete bag is 40 pounds and, here we go. 0.3 cubic feet per bag, and it's 650 per bag. So we need that information. So just off to the side here, we've got that one bag is equal to 0.3 feet cubed. And then also one bag is 650. So here we can take our cubic feet and we know that one bag, actually we could just combine these together. I can just skip over the bag part. So putting these two together, I know that it's $6.50 per 0.3 cubic feet. We put those two facts together. So I can just multiply by that here. 650 per bag, and a bag covers 0.3 feet cubed. So that gets rid of cubic feet and gives us the cost of the concrete. Do we need anything else? Sales tax, but is it just the cost of the concrete here? Yeah, the only thing they mention is the concrete. We don't talk about building that form to hold the liquid concrete in. Well, that's their problem. So then once we get the cost of the concrete, we can then add on to that the 9.4% sales tax. So 9.4% times that concrete cost. So find that number. So that's our tax. And then if we add those up, that's going to give us our total cost. And I think that is the end of our mission. So double check that and you're done. Congratulations. I'll catch you later.